So I'm here talking to Ron Foster, and the big question I wanted to ask real quick. You've got people listening to this, watching this, not prepared at all. What's the first step they should take?
Get knowledge. You don't need gear. Don't get caught up in making the perfect bug out bag, which every prepper does. I did the same thing, but just don't get caught up in that. To buy food, everybody talks about the rotation. You buy what you need. That's good, but I tell them, do this better. Say you're 30 years old or whatever. You go over there for $6, you get a big old can of Mountain House cereal, 7-grain cereal. It lasts 30 years. That's your retirement plan. You're going to make it for a while, and you can eat that. And that's the cheapest, best way I know how to start prepping.
Very good. Big debate going on in our hometown right now. We had major tornadoes come through, and one of the big questions is, should they be building community tornado shelters?
Well, I agree with that. I mean, civil defense, we've gotten so far off that I can remember when I was growing up, we used to go to like Normandale Shopping Center. The basement was the place that you go when the tornado warning went off. Same thing for the nuclear. Everybody goes up there, tornado approaching. The guy with the key ain't there. And you go, what? And then nobody thinks about it, or our drills or tries. And now we have nothing after they closed all the places. So I definitely agree the community should be more resilient, more self-sustaining.
Are you familiar with the CERT program?
Yes, it's excellent.
I agree. For listeners or viewers who are not familiar with this, it's CERT. It's Community Emergency Response Teams. It is a federal government program. I went through CERT through my local fire department. It is a free government program, and it's literally free survival training. It's like, to me, it's like the best kept secret in the federal government. You don't hear about it that much.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's when I got into emergency management. This is another thing you need to know too, is that you can get college credit for a lot of these courses. So I did my associate's degree just on the extended, what do they call that, where you take your course. I forgot, I'm drawing a blank. You can take anything you want free from the government, and there's many colleges that recognize the credit for this. So I had my associate's degree. I saved thousands of dollars, just got free government, learn how to do things. You can take whatever you want to know. You want to learn how to work with animals during a disaster. You want to know how to, what happens to radiological equipment at hospitals. They have those courses. You want hazmat, you want whatever. And this can springboard somebody into the response programs, or if you want to go into nonprofit, you know what's going on. You can take leadership skills, communication, whatever you need. I would suggest everybody take a 7 series, like it's called the advanced course, but it's just a certain number. Very easy to do, very good insight into things going on. It's not preppers though. That's what a lot of people are like, you're emergency man. They don't teach the first thing about purified water.
Oh, no, not at all. And you see that when you go through a CERT program too.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, you can Google FEMA, CERT, any of those things. It'll tell you about the program.
Independent study is what I was looking for.
Independent study, gotcha.
Independent study. And there's, I think, 300 courses on there at the moment.
That's great. But what I found, they taught you first aid, they taught you search and rescue, things like that. And,
well, you know what those triangles on doors mean.
Right, yeah, I know.
That's kind of a neat thing to know.
Yeah, they actually do have a language they use to speak to each other.
Yeah, there's a dead person in here, or
right,
we checked it, or stay at home, whatever, yeah.
So another good place to start. Also your books. Let's talk, you've been writing for how long?
Well, I started 1982. I did one on gemology, but I've got the Rural Ranger was my first book. I wrote down every country thing that I knew back in the day, and just stuff we grew up with. And then that was like stayed there. 2000. I was working on the 2012 thing, not at the end of the world, but I knew the solar storm was going to hit. And it was 2 years after it hit, they told the public, oh, by the way, you missed the big one. And we missed about 4 hours, but I was prepping for that, you know.
Do you think that the solar storms are like one of the big threats that we face?
Sure, I think hacking is first and foremost. It's too easy to hack something. It's also too easy to just, like I said, I got background in the military. They teach me what transformers to shoot and whatnot. This happened in California. They went out there, they shot up all the transformers. We were about to take out Silicon Valley, and it had been snipers. They had to know what to be shooting at because they're oil-filled transformers to make them leak, make that power go down. It's so easy with, one guy, one gun to do this, and then the military is trained to do this, and they never look at it this way.
So you think our biggest threat, would it be a hostile combatant from like a hostile country or possible
I would
domestic
say
terrorism?
deep state at the moment.
Oh, wow. Right.
They're going to try to do something to regain power to make it society break down to where you want them to do something. It's a mess right now. I don't know if y'all do the QAnon thing, but that's what I like. I watch that and see what's going on.
I got you. So, what would you suggest? Let's see, you're writing full time now. Is that right?
Yes, I make my living off of it.
Oh, wow. So, are you self-published?
Yes.
Are you at this point?
Yeah.
So, what would you suggest somebody who wants to get self-published? How do you get
Avoid all the so-called experts. It's very easy to do. It's cheap. We called it vanity publishing. Oh, I'm gonna have a book, and then they're gonna charge you thousands. Your book is no better than mine. Or they would be edited. I'm not good at editing. But you can do this all free on your own. Go out there and try it, do it, and just take the flack that you're gonna get for doing it on your own and learn it as you go.
Well, as somebody who's been writing for a while myself, I don't publish books, but I was blogging forever. One of my favorite things was, if you're a writer and you don't want criticism, you're basically a boxer who doesn't want to get punched.
There you go. Excellent.
So,
I like that.
mean, that's how it is.
I also say, if you're a writer, you got homework forever.
That's the truth. Very true. But you would say go for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everybody's got a story in them. Tell your story. And it'll tell you a lot about yourself too, because you'll examine your own mind or your own situation so much as you're writing this down or what you're trying to put into people to learn or something.
I got 64 books. What's next? Is there more out
Trying
there?
to make it to 100. I'm getting old.
But is there another one?
Oh yeah, I just published one the other day. I did seashells and shot shells.
I did see that.
Yeah.
So just gonna keep on going.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of times I'll take 3 books, like a trilogy, combined into one book. I cheat a little bit on the number of books though, but that gets me off the like the Kindle Select. You're exclusive to Amazon. So I take the 3 books I published over there, combine one book, then I can go wide out there on the other platforms. I hate Amazon's monopoly.
Yeah, and if you were self-publishing, that's basically where you're going to be.
Oh sure, yeah. And then you got BabbleCube now. If you want your book translated into Russian, you got somebody out there willing to do it, and you just share royalty with it. You don't have to pay a translator. If you want to do ACX, you can share the narrator, your royalty with them, or you can pay by the hour. So the money is not an objection to self-publishing, where it used to be many years ago. And they made it easier and easier. I started out with Lulu, and we used to have to pay like $60 to go extra, distribution. I would hate to pay that on 64 books every year.
Oh yeah.
Where you have as a pop, so they just generally get that out. It's an evolving industry. It's going to change all the time. We're going to learn something new all the time.
That's true. We've never really had a time like this, have we? As far as writers and publishing and all that.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I started, there was only 3 of us writing apocalyptic prepper fiction. Now there's thousands.
Well, it's a genre at this point. I would say apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic fiction and survival as a nonfiction. I think I'd say both are a genre at this point.
Yeah. I do what I call Southern prepper fiction, though. I coin mine, but you can always, there's a lot of humor in it, a lot of Southern accents, and when the grammar Nazis get me, I said, that's how we talk.